Hello, everybody, and welcome to the afternoon tune. I'm your host, Josh, and with me is my special guest host today, Hunter from the Real Pineapple Podcast. And we're just here, special stream, doing a reaction for the new Deadpool and Wolverine trailer here. So thank you, Hunter, for joining me for that.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah, so probably cool, just impromptu stream here. Decided to do it since, like I said, Deadpool, Wolverine, big movie coming out this year, July 26th, I think it's coming out. So probably one of the biggest movies of this year. Is it the only Marvel film coming out this year?
It is, yeah.
So it's the only Marvel film coming out this year. So it has that going for July 26th. So possibly, I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit before, but can we see this movie making a billion? Is it a disappointment if it doesn't make a billion?
Like that's the thing, man. The floor on this is probably 700 million. Like I
700.
like I don't see a world where it doesn't make that. And the budget on this is probably 200-ish. So, I mean, if this makes 700 million, I'm sure Marvel would be stoked with that. But I think it's going to get closer. I think it'll be more in that multiverse of madness, Wakanda Forever, Guardians 3 range. I think 850 is kind of, I don't want
800
to say,
to 950 million.
yeah, like even if it doesn't hit a billion, it's gonna be like 800 plus is what I would bet on personally.
Okay. All right. So with this big trailer, it's the introduction. We're seeing more Wolverine. We didn't see that in the last trailer. We saw virtually none of him. Hugh Jackman is returning as the character, so let's get started on it. I've already seen the trailer, but I'm gonna be playing it again. Play it all the way through, add some commentary to it, and then afterwards we're gonna be dissecting all the stuff in the trailer there. So let me go ahead and cue this up and let's go.
You're not welcome here. You're not welcome anywhere. Now get the fuck out of my bar.
Just give me one more drink and then I'll leave.
Hi, Peanut. I'm gonna need you to come with me right now.
Look, lady, I'm not interested.
All right, well, I'm sort of on the tick, so upsy daisy. Here we go. Oh, whiskey dick of the claws. It's quite common in Wolverines over 40.
You don't want that.
Unless you want to.
So you think they're doing the kind of Logan thing in the 2017 film where his, regenerative abilities, regenerating abilities is kind of deteriorating, his body's kind of deteriorating.
We'll get into it.
Okay.
Take a deep breath through your fucking forehead. I suggest you reconsider.
And then we have the costume
I'm about to lose
here.
everything that I've ever cared about.
Not my fucking problem.
Is that what you said when your world went to shit?
Come again.
This Wolverine let down his entire world.
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback?
Go fuck yourself.
I don't know anything about saving worlds.
Is that another Pat Benatar song?
You do.
I know the song. I don't know who sings it, so I'm actually not sure.
You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man. I am soaking wet right now.
Oh, it's like a prayer.
Boys are so silly.
This is what I'm talking about. Big slow motion action sequence. Who knows if you live or die? Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Go.
Want to do some cocaine?
Hey, cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
What about Bolivian watching powder?
They know all the slang terms. They have a list.
Even snowboarding?
Even disco dust.
White girl interrupted?
Even forest bump.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Yes. I can't.
All right. Well, you seem to like. I see you bopping your head there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
All right. So, B by B, what's going on in this trailer? What can you see from this?
Okay, so several things. So right out the box, if you just want to start, so very reminiscent of Logan, of like the Wolverine, and very much what Jackman has done a lot in his career as the character. Him being in a bar, makes a ton of sense. At this point, Deadpool was already clearly gone to the TVA since it already has the upgraded TVA version of the suit. Um, Rumor is that the his katanas this time are going to be made out of adamantium, which is what Wolverine's bones, of course, are made out of. Um, what I like that shot of the gun where it's like smile, wait for the flash. That's if memory serves, that's in the credits of the opening credits of Deadpool 2, if memory serves as well. That shot. Um, so nice little callback. Nice little callback there. As far as the Logan stuff, I think they're gonna definitely draw. They're definitely gonna draw inspiration from it. Um, Jackman and Reynolds have both been very, very adamant about the fact that this is not the same Logan that we lost at the end of Logan, of course. So going to the 34-second mark, you can see there, little Canada shout out there, the CN Tower, top right of your screen. You see that there. You see the 20th Century logo, of course, torn to shit on your left hand side. So this is where it gets kind of interesting plot wise. Is Wade Deadpool saying, "Oh, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose everyone." That kind of ties back to the whole thing that the Ancient One talked about as far as how the Infinity Stones work, and how you kind of mess with time. To go back to was that Endgame? Yeah, in Endgame. So basically, if you remember her kind of talking about that, how there's a guardian of the stone, and they even talk about in Loki how there's like a Nexus hero for each timeline. So when you're pruning the timeline, that hero is usually taken out of commission. So if Wolverine being that last beacon, that last X-Men getting killed, and that's how his world disappears, that actually makes a ton of sense. So it would make sense for Deadpool and Wolverine to go through different timelines, trying to go ahead and warn other Wolverines, which gives you the whole excuse for having multiple variants. So that's probably the route they're going to go. That's probably how they're going to spin it, based on the canon that they've set up. What's interesting is at the 47-second mark where we see Logan.
Real quick, any comments about the costume? How does it look to you now seeing it?
Oh, looks sexy as hell. Like it's exactly what I wanted. And then we get the sleeveless version, which is also what I wanted. I do hope we end up getting the brown and gold, just because I'm a sucker for that version of the costume. But this looks great. Like I wanted the blue and gold at some point, and I'm getting it. So I'm happy. And I know I commented on this already in the last trailer review that we did, but I like the more red costume that Deadpool's rocking. It does look more comic accurate in that way. I like my costumes to be bright. I don't need this,
Muted.
Yeah, I hate muted costumes. I think it makes it look less comic booky. So it actually looks very bright and vibrant. So I like the way it looks there. Going to the whole in like 2 seconds, the whole Wolverine looking sad and kind of looking like he's in his version of the sunken place. There's nothing comic book canon that really looks like this. So I don't know where he's at or what this is. In the comics, he actually in the Old Man Logan storyline, he actually gets tricked by Mysterio into killing all the X-Men. That's how they end up spinning it. And then Red Skull actually kills the Avengers. I'm assuming they probably won't do that, even though that would be a really fun excuse to get a Jake Gyllenhaal cameo or a variant. But I think that's going to kind of be one of the bigger cameo scenes, is maybe we see Logan being manipulated and he kills, the core X-Men from the Fox series. That would actually be pretty brutal, and I kind of actually want to see that now that I say it out loud. But this shot's really interesting in particular because I think this is where we kind of figure out what happened. I mean, because he's in civilian clothes, no costume. You could just see him kind of wrestling with his demons potentially in this one scene.
Because usually that's what he wears, the just regular white T-shirt or tank top,
Yeah,
jeans. That's kind of like his, civilian clothes when he's not in his superhero costume there.
yeah. So then if you go to the 50, like the 51, 52-second mark, you got Deadpool back at the TVA, and we know that that's Paradox that he's talking to, who's like the new head of the TVA. So
I've got
in
that
the,
actor's name, the one from Succession. Yeah,
yeah,
I've got his name there. Yeah, so he said he's the new head of the TVA there, and it's Matthew McFadden.
that's it. Yeah. So what's interesting about Paradox in the comics is that he's technically a clone of Owen Wilson's character Morbius. They're probably not going to say he's a clone. They'll probably just say he's a variant because, again, keep it simple. But what my big swing, as it were, for this is that he's a secondary villain because, like, we know the TVA typically doesn't operate with the most ethical bounds anyway.
Mhm.
And yeah, the TVA looks more welcoming and shit, but I still think the TVA is going to try to kind of do what Kang was trying to do. So my theory is that you're going to have Paradox telling Wade, like, hey man, you need to get these other Wolverine variants, these other heroes, and we need to work together. But it's going to be an attempt at like a hostile takeover or something to go ahead and try to take down Loki, since he's the one who's literally holding all the timelines in his hand. I think there's actually a world where you see them use Deadpool's fourth wall breaking as a weapon. I think he's going to try to find a way to weaponize that, kind of similar to the Shield motherfucker, how he did that in WandaVision, trying to weaponize Wanda's kids. I think you're going to see that here. They're showing him way too much for him to not have a bigger role. So I think he's a secondary villain. You heard that here first. Let's see. Was there anything else?
So here the scene you see that he says that. So this Wolverine failed his world here. So do you
Yeah.
think it's a world that we've already seen or a world that we haven't already?
Oh no, it's probably the Fox world. Like this
Okay.
is probably going to be like, I think people forget that shit too. Like the X-Men movies just kind of ended. It was like, oh, Dark Phoenix sucked. All right, here's New Mutants. All right, goodbye. And the pretty shitty ending given, given what they started with. So I think this will probably be the closest thing to an actual goodbye that the 20th Century Fox brand gets as far as their comic books shit. Because
I mean,
look,
wasn't Logan already that pretty much?
not really, because those came out after that. So
Mm, true.
New Mutants was the last thing that they put out, like, which everyone tries to forget. In the last like X-Men movie was Dark Phoenix. So I think that this is going to do the best it can to kind of go ahead and basically say something along the lines of like, hey, Loki does have like the 20th century timeline in his hand, but that's being branched into everything else. That way, if you're Marvel, you can kind of cut what you don't want want to bring over, and then keep what you do. Like that'll be their excuse. That's how they're going to spend this. But I think that's probably the world that we're familiar with, is that the 20th Century Fox world is the one that he failed. So
And then you see some fighting between Wolverine here. They're showing a lot of this, like a lot of the Wasteland stuff, like with the 20th Century Fox logo here. A lot of the scenes that we also saw in the first trailer. It seems like they're continuously going to fight because there's also another scene in this trailer where they fight in a van as well, back and forth.
well, that's the thing. They fight a lot in the comics, like a lot in the comics. They fuck around with each other quite a bit, and honestly, a lot of it's Deadpool's fault because he's just such a little shit. But they do fight quite a bit, and this feels like this is probably the first quarter of the movie because everything they're showing is kind of in similar locations. Like they're kind of going reverse multiverse of madness because like multiverse of madness at a point was like, yes, we know you heard about these cameos. Yep, here they are. They're going to be here. Come see the shit anyway. It feels like they're holding a lot to the chest, which I actually like because I don't want everything spoiled by the time I get to the theater. But the world we live in. But it feels like this is pretty early on. It feels like the first, like I said, like the first quarter of it. So it feels like they're holding a lot back, which is actually a good thing.
Yeah, and you see again. I hope there's better banter. I think a little bit between the both of them. Seems like it's a lot of just Wolverine saying "fuck you" and "fuck off," or hopefully there's a little bit better banter there, back and forth between him and Deadpool. That we got to see because he's. I mean, this is the scene here, and he's already saying "fuck" 3 times already in this trailer. Already he said it at the bar. He said it another time when they were walking together, and then now he's saying it again. Maybe hope we can get something a little bit better banner there. Maybe hopefully full movie there. Um, so yeah, and so he says, and this scene is like the third act flashback. So presumably we're gonna get what happened in his world. We're gonna get the
Oh
flashback there,
yeah.
to see what happened to his X-Men, his world there. So yeah, all right. Um, and this upcoming here, them walking, and this is where you see them with the no shoulder pads. A lot of people mad that you didn't they didn't keep the shoulder pads. Are you mad
Oh,
about?
people are. Oh, wait, go back a little bit. Right, pause. There you go. Okay, so a couple things. So right there, Copperheads. That's actually a callback to. That's actually a callback to Davis Davis Loffers, I think it's a civilian name, but he's a villain actually named Copperhead, who's a like C tier Captain America villain. But what's important about that is that the Copperheads are actually he's actually a member of the snake themed group, the Serpent Society, which is actually what the original title for Captain America 2 was before they changed it to Winter Soldiers. And the Serpent Society has been rumored to actually be in the next Captain America Brave New World. So that could be a hint that they're going to probably be in the next Captain America. Like I said, they're such a C-level villain. You could pretty much do whatever you wanted with them, potentially. In that same shot, if you go forward a little bit, keep going. If you pause right there where it says life fields, just feet, that's just a very niche, that's a very fun comic book reference because Rob Liefeld, who created Deadpool and has drawn them more often than not, he has a really awkward way of drawing feet. Like they just look weird. And so that's actually been something that the comic community has constantly given him shit for, is not knowing how to draw feet. They just look just out of proportion. And so it's so I like that little dig. That was quite funny to see that and go like, okay, like well played, movie. So that was actually pretty fun. Moving on from that, Deadpool having gold guns. That's so douchey but wonderful. Right, of course, I'm soaking wet right now. The 135 shot, that shot is fucking pristine. That might be my favorite shot in the whole trailer. Is the uh
Who do you think
is the
they're facing here when they're coming? Like, what do you think? It's like a small little town or something, or what do you?
Yeah, it's hard to tell from the way they're shooting it. Like it could definitely be like a smaller scale fight, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm actually not sure on this. Um, that shot. Oh yeah, that's the shot right there. That shot of Wolverine, animanium claws, like looks like he's ready to go into berserker mode. Like that's a great fucking shot right there. Love that shot. Um, and then we immediately get Deadpool fucking up the TVA. And so like I mentioned in the last trailer breakdown, TVA looks different, costuming, coloring, and everything looks different. Potentially not the same. Potentially a TVA from a different timeline. Potentially, given the little cosmetic changes, but um, but then we cut to what looks pretty cool, like the Wolverine Deadpool. I'm assuming one of several fights we get between the two of them. I love the slow mo, like the very light use of slow mo. Snyder, take notes. Um, if you look there at the 139, actually, that's too early. If you go to the 152 mark,
All right.
that's hi Cassandra Nova. This is kind of one of the most important shots in the trailer. So couple things. In Old Man Logan, Scott Lang gets killed, but he gets killed as Giant Man. So his skeleton and everything is, giant. And so it would take way too much time to explain, but the short answer is Cassandra Nova is the evil twin sister of Professor Xavier, who of course has been played by Sir Patrick Stewart, pardon me, and James McAvoy. And so she coming out of a giant man's skull, she is the constant, she's the evil version, and she's on the opposite end of the spectrum as Xavier. Like everything she does is very big, very dastardly. So the fact that Cerebro is typically in such a small enclosed space and she's coming out of a giant man's skull, love that contrast. It's very very much in canon with her character. But then if you look at the actual the wide frame shot, where you see everyone on the ground there at the 152 mark. Let's wait a second here. We're coming up on it. There we go. So okay, important shot here. So you can see multiple mutants here. So the obvious one is Azazel, who you know from X-Men First Class. Yeah. Because red tail, you can just see him right there.
Okay.
The second one to the left, that's Lady Deathstrike, played by Kelly Hu.
Oh, they brought her back. Okay.
Yeah, who's in X-Men 2.
Yeah.
And then it gets a little dicier, but from what I'm seeing, from zooming in, it looks like Callisto, who's in X3 the last stand. That's one furthest to the left. The one hunched over there that looks like Toad. And then
is one of these is the person sitting on the card Pyro? Is one of these people?
Yeah, that's gonna be Pyro. Looks like on the right there. And then let's see. Now, bit of a swing. That could be Colossus with the beard. Now I know some people would go like, Colossus doesn't have a beard. There's actually multiple runs in the comics where he does have a beard, so potentially that could be Colossus. Continuing on, I really couldn't recognize anyone else outside of Pyro and potentially Colossus and then the Azazel right there. So could be other variants of mutants that we've seen before, could be ones we're meeting for the first time. But I love this shot because you're so distracted by the giant man head that you're not even looking on the ground floor. So that was actually a very clever way that they did that. Let's see if there's anything else I really want to. Oh yeah, at the 154 mark. My bad. You see, if you see that car, that looks like the Red Skull car from First Avenger. The way that the bumper and everything lines up. But the Mad Max version. And if you look on the top of the grill there, you see the Iron Man logo right there. So
oh yeah, that's a good eye. Yeah.
So you've got that, and then
let me hold on. So this was the car from First Avenger. So yeah, you kind of see the similarities there a little bit.
Yeah. So like you could easily see where they just like fucked up the grill. So you've got that, and then at the 156 mark, we get Dogpool, which makes me so happy that Dogpool's in this fucking movie. So again, very, very quick summary. That's actually Wade Wilson from Earth 103-173. Dogpool is an actual character. They actually refer to him as Wade Wilson in that Earth, and he has the exact same powers as our Wade Wilson does. So I love that Dogpool's in this shit.
Can he talk or no? He can't talk.
I can't actually remember if he can talk. I'm pretty sure he can talk. Actually, I know he talks to the reader. I don't actually recall if he just talks to people. I think it's like a spider pig sort of thing where he talks when he needs to. Let's see. Was there
I love the
anything?
face in the back of Wolverine's face. Yeah.
Oh no, he looks fucking disgusting. By this dog, it makes me very happy. At the 157 mark, again, we saw the Secret Wars comic book cover in the first trailer that just looks more like Doctor Doom, and even the vehicle there, it looks kind of reminiscent of the Quinjet that the Fantastic Four use. So like that could very easily be Doom or a Doom variant. Let's see.
Maybe it's Kang. Maybe Jonathan.
Right. And then let's see, is there anything else that really jumped out? Okay, so if you remember from the end of Loki season 2, Renslayer was confronted by Elias. One of the things I said about that is that if Elias didn't eat her, which it fucking didn't, there's a world where she goes ahead and is able to harness to learn how to harness Elias since the King variant had sent his journal back to her. So there's a world where we get her potentially in X-Men shit because, Rama Tut, King variant, has ties to Apocalypse. So there is a world where we get like her as maybe like the mid-credit and she's talking to Rama Tut or she's talking to Apocalypse. That seems way more of a possibility actually after saying this. Let's see. Was there anything else to really point
So you
out?
see, Cassandra notes that she has telekinesis and telepathy here, where Charles Xavier only has telepathy.
Correct. Yeah. And then the last big thing is obviously the 211 mark, where that's Deadpool and Wolverine going ahead and jumping to I think they're literally jumping into the MCU at this point proper. I think that's literally
Like
what
the whole world is, because you see this big cloud right here. The whole
yeah,
world's gonna be just
because that's the void that they're clearly in, or maybe the Fox version of the void, and that's Elias going ahead and eating and even eating everything. So yeah, this is probably them literally jumping out of the Fox universe or the 20th century universe into the MCU proper. Plus, of course, that portal is either, it's probably Wong most likely. I think Wong being the one that they interact first would make the most sense since they're actually the Sorcerer Supreme, and Wong has been kind of popping up in like She-Hulk and stuff. I think Wong would actually make sense.
who doesn't love Wong? Everybody loves
Right, exactly. But yeah, I think that is actually them jumping like proper into the MCU, and I think that actually happens earlier in the film than we probably think.
So you don't think this is the client? Because it seems like, okay, so a lot of this stuff they're showing is like they show the stuff with the 20th Century Fox logo, the Wasteland. Then it seems like with this trailer they're showing a lot of like the Ant-Man layer that Cassandra Nova is in, because you still see it's still there. You can still see like Ant-Man's arms and everything right here in the
Yeah,
foreground. And then they're jumping in the portal. So you don't think that this is the end? This is the climax? You think they're gonna go
no.
through a portal and then something's just gonna continue some more?
I think they potentially go back to the TVA after this. Or, yeah, I think they're potentially going to the TVA after this. I think there's going to be some sort of Loki interaction, whether it's a mid or post credit. I think there's just a world where Deadpool able to break the fourth wall, Loki being the god of stories now. I think there is some point where there's some interaction with them. It might only be a minute long, but I think there's an interaction between Deadpool and Loki before the credits roll.
All right. They're jumping through it. Big end. And Yeah. Then you have this comedic bit at the end here. Again, you see
which was
uh,
great.
Blind Owl is back again. Um, so yeah. So do you think people from the Deadpool universe will also cross over there with him? You know, people
I
like
think so. I think some will, because Vanessa, she ends up becoming copycat in the comics too. And that's actually a really fun arc that she goes through. So I think there's a world where she becomes copycat in this, or maybe she's carried over to become copycat. Um, I think that's a very distinct possibility. You have a Colossus, you have um, Megasonic Teenage Warhead, you have her. So I mean, there's I think there's a world where these characters potentially cross over, or maybe they die in this universe, but then when Deadpool jumps to the MCU, that there are just different versions of these characters to kind of be the ones to push it forward. I think we get a Colossus recast for sure.
Mm,
Because I think he's going to be one of the primary X-Men moving forward, like on the team. Because I think they want to go ahead and get Kitty Pryde as a part of the roster. So I think we'll get a new Colossus for sure. Hopefully, Blind Owl comes because Blind Owl's great.
yeah. So yeah, you do have that there. Yeah. So it seems like they're playing their cards close to the vest, like you said. Not a lot of things, like you said. We're not seeing a bunch of cameos here so far. There's a lot of maybe rumors and suspicions that people have about what's kind of going to happen about the different cameos that we're going to see. My big issue is if this is going to be a huge cameo fest, if that's just, that's what nothing of this movie is going to be. But yeah, so seems like they're keeping that. You think they're going to do one more trailer? Or no, you think that this is it?
I They probably will, and I almost wish they wouldn't, to be honest. Like in a perfect world, I would prefer if there were just two trailers per movie, like a teaser trailer and then an official trailer, and just leave it at that. But that's not how marketing works. So I'm sure there will be one other trailer. I just don't think you need one at this point, because Reynolds is such a marketing machine by himself, and Disney is Disney. Like, the month of June on, we're just going to be getting belted with Deadpool shit. Like, it's going to be relentless. Like,
Was
if
that
you're
popcorn bucket? Was that real? That popcorn bucket that they did?
I don't know. I hope it is, but I'm not sure. But yeah, we're going to get belted with so much Deadpool shit you know uh over the next couple months. Like, it's gonna be obnoxious. So if you're not a fan of it now, you're really gonna hate it come June. So I would just I would just be prepared, people. If you don't like the shit, just be prepared to look away. But um yeah, we'll probably get another trailer mid-June, I would say.
Mid June. Yeah. So I don't
But
know if
again,
these,
I
yeah.
don't want us to.
So
I,
these was the popcorn buckets here. So I don't know if these are supposed to be real or not. I don't know. I don't know if they were just like a joke thing. I didn't really look too much into it. But yeah. So you do have that.
that's the
Um
thing. Like, the merch alone will make this movie profitable, because they are gonna beat, man. Hot Topic is gonna be gross come come June. So just like, if you don't like Marvel shit, just stay out of the malls, because it's gonna get really bad. But um yeah, this is July 26th. I mean, I don't think you really need another trailer, just because at this point, what Deadpool is. Like, I think there's still a lot of people on the fact that, oh my god, there's cussing in an MCU movie and they're dropping the F-bomb. Like, I think that alone will be enough to get, you know, people to actually be intrigued. Plus, you are leaning to what, to your point, you're leaning into the whole, there's gonna be a bunch of cameos here. And just off the stuff that's been rumored, like Dana Ratcliffe showing up as a variant, which I think end up being the Wolverine at Madripoor. I think he'll be Patch. But rumored Henry Cavill might be a variant in here. Rumors he might be Doctor Doom. Like there's so many rumors that could potentially pay off. I think just off of people's curiosities that will carry a lot of it, but also, and I'll be the first to admit, I mean, I like Deadpool 2. I think the kid aspect just doesn't land as hard as it should. And I just think that's just some kind of derpy writing at points with him. But even Deadpool 2 made $785 million. Like, and that's the lesser of the two Deadpools. So like, yeah, I just don't see a world where this doesn't make 800 million easy.
Yeah. Do you want to run down the list of rumored cameos there a little bit of people? You need to name a few.
So yeah, so Radcliffe is one as a variant. Cavill is one as either a Wolverine variant. There's rumors he might be Doctor Doom. There's rumors he might be cast as Cyclops. Like, the big heavy rumor is that Cavill will be in the MCU in some capacity moving forward.
I also see Walker Scobell. People know he was in Percy Jackson, or he's leaked
Yeah.
he might be Kidpool. Some people rumor that one.
Yeah.
I know the one you're most excited about.
Yeah. God damn it. Yeah.
Taylor Swift might be coming in as Dazzler. So
Yeah, which, Jesus Christ, like I'm already trying to like mentally prepare myself for a Taylor Swift cameo because technically, right, Deadpool is wearing like one of her shirts in Deadpool 2. That shirt where he's got like the two cats on it. Apparently, those are her cats. Yeah, so it's just like, God damn, like, I know it's coming, and I'm just trying to tell myself, like, all right, I'll just get my groans out of the way. But, God, Dazzler is such a fun character, though. Like, there's a world where you could make it work. Because I've actually seen Taylor Swift on some SNL skits and been like, okay, she actually does have some, comedic timing. I mean,
right.
look at her song lyrics, but but I think it could work as like a 3-minute gag, but I don't want her in the shit for like, 20 minutes. like make it quick and just get it over with.
Do you think a lot of these cameos will be just like quick, like little things, and then that's it? You think?
I mean, probably, because we're gonna get several variants, and that just allows for a lot of fun. I know Jennifer Gardner pretty much gave away like her Elektra cameo because this one guy, I think was interviewing her for Collider, just kind of wore her ass down, and she was kind of like, "All right, I might be in the movie," and it's just like, God damn, y'all are just breaking these people, but they've done a pretty good job of keeping the lid on shit. So I mean, we probably get like OG X-Men cameos. Like, we might get Famke Jensen. We might get
James Marsden.
Yeah. So I could see a world where
Ian
we get
McKellen.
those. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, so I think there's a world where we do get some cameos. It'd be cool to see Elliot Page as Kitty Pryde again. It'd be cool to see oh my gosh, why is blank on their name? It'd be
Sean Ashmore, or was it Aaron?
Yeah, Iceman. Yeah, it'd be cool to see them. It'd be cool to see Halle Berry again, because I know she was pregnant when they shot Days of Future Past, so she, like, her shit was like really cut down. So yeah, like there's a world where there could be some really fun cameos in here. It'd be cool to see McAvoy and Fassbender, if you could even spin that for a scene. So there's a lot of potential for cameos. I will say, for me, I hope that it's more in the vein of something like Multiverse Madness or No Way Home for me, where I think there was a lot of like, yay, fan service, cool. But I found myself still going like, oh man, I'm really digging the story. Like, it's a fine balance of fan service versus like, like closing the loop on your own story in the movie, but also setting up for shit that's coming up down the road. Like, it's a lot to balance, but I think even Reynolds would tell you that there are some issues with Deadpool 2. Like I said, I still have a lot of fun with it. It's just not perfect, but I think they're committed to getting this right, especially since this is their first R-rated MCU movie. So I don't know. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
I like I said, I really like that they're not giving a lot away. Like there's still a lot to wonder about. So
Yeah. Yeah. Still have to wonder about there. Like I said, if this is they got to knock up some, have someone's line down that are pretty good, get people's goodwill built up again there about the MCU, about the Marvel universe. There, X-Men '97 is knocking it out of the park. This is
yeah.
going to be their only movie of the year, so this has to be really good. Like I said, I think if this is good, a lot of people are going to see it. It's going to be one of those things. A lot of people see the first weekend because of
Oh, absolutely.
they don't want to get spoiled on, so it's gonna probably have a huge drop off the second week.
Oh
But
yeah.
so because so many people are gonna rush to see it the first week because they don't wanna get spoiled on the cameos and all that other stuff there.
But a lot of people saw both Deadpool films twice. Like I saw the first one like 3 times.
Wow.
Deadpool's a lot of fun, and then like I saw I saw the second one like once on a Saturday and like once on like a $5 movie Tuesday. So I think that this will definitely warrant most likely multiple viewings. I will say I'm pretty bummed that Zazie Beetz apparently is not back, which just bums me the fuck out because she was my favorite part about Deadpool
Yeah,
2.
I was gonna say,
And,
I mentioned that. Yeah, I do like
and I think that's just I think that's just a after seeing her in Joker, she deserves to be in a good comic book movie. Like that really bothers me how she was treated in that shit. But they should find a way to bring her back, even if it's like even if she's just in it for a bit. Like, yeah, Domino's just a fun character. They could do a lot with her, but yeah, it sounds like she's done, which sucks. But
yeah. And Deadpool 2, I was kind of mixed on it. I don't think it was as good as the first one. I think it has sequel syndrome of just too much shit going on, too many
I,
characters, a lot going
yeah,
on.
I laughed. Like I'll say, like I laughed harder probably in Deadpool 2 because like the jokes that having Brad Pitt on as like a 10-second cameo to get electrocuted, I thought that was so good. I was like, that's fucking great. Like the fact that he agreed that shit just made me really happy. And then the whole bit with Peter, Sugar Bear, like the X-Force bit was like I was crying laughing. So I mean, there's some really big highs in that, but it gets a little serious for like, hey, this kid's getting molested. Walk a walk. Like it's kind of like, oh, all right, like that's a bit of a bit
Yeah.
of a turn, Deadpool too. Like it's a little. I think the tones clash more in that movie than anything. I think that's actually its biggest problem because it kind of gets the serious shit out of the way in the first film kind of early on. It's like, oh shit, cancer diagnosis, but it leads to this. And I think they just balance everything a little better in the first film. Yeah, it's not like a Pirates of the Caribbean movie where I just think or I just think they're throwing everything at the screen, but I just thought the kid plot line just didn't fit in the way that they were. It probably read better on paper than it did like when it was actually executed, because I think Domino like breathes a lot of light into that film, life in that film. I think Brolin, it's actually really great as Cable.
Mhm.
It's just, yeah, the kid element. It's almost like they introduce a kid into a sitcom when they're running out of ideas, and it just kind of messes up the flow just enough for you to be
It's like when
agitated
somebody
by
has
it.
a baby, but then they always leave the baby
Yeah,
with the babysitter. It's like, oh, this what it is.
yeah,
It's like, well,
it's
damn, what was the
kind
point
of
of having
like that because there's so many points where you're just like, oh, Cable and Domino, like in Deadpool, this is great, and then they have to go back to the kid, and you're kind of like, oh, I don't want this. Like, I don't care that the kid is recruiting Juggernaut. Like, get rid of this. So it's, yeah, like the highs in Deadpool 2 are really high, but it's just kind of an albatross around that movie. But
Yeah. And as you mentioned with Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, you talked about those movies. So this is a different director. This is the third time the Deadpool series has switched directors. The first movie was directed by Tim Pool. The second movie was directed by David Leitch. And this one's going to be directed by Sean Levy. Sean Levy, who's a frequent collaborator of Ryan Reynolds. He did the movie with him.
he
What was it called? The Netflix movie with Mark Ruffalo.
he
Uh,
makes hits, man. Adam Project, which I
Adam
really,
Project. He also
yeah,
did Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds as well. He did
also dug that.
Real Steel with Hugh Jackman. Yeah. I think his biggest films are probably what the Night at the Museum films are probably.
So it's really funny if you go back and look the Night of Museum films, those all did really well box office wise. Like
Yeah.
it's actually really funny. And you're like, wait a minute, those did that well? Like, yeah, those did really well. Like, that's why there's a trilogy, which is so wild to me. I remember him doing Big Fat Liar, and Big Fat Liar is a great movie for kids to watch because it's like an adult will screw you over if they get a chance to make money off you. Like Big Fat Liar is really fucking fun. But yeah, he did Real Steel, which I enjoy. Like I really actually dig his filmography quite a bit because Real Steel is fun. Dumb as hell, but it's fun. Free Guy, dug. I know a lot of people don't, but I dug it. And then all three Night at the Museums actually hit in different ways for me. And I'm not crazy about family. Like that could have been some could have been some Meet the Parent shit, but those movies work shockingly well. And then in Adam Project, outside of the horrendous CG on Catherine Keener at one point, which just is fucking ghastly. That movie does work pretty damn well. He's done some really good shit. It's now with that said, superhero movies are different, they're a different breed. But this guy has been really good about being able to fit comedy across multiple genres and for multiple audiences. So he might be able to make this work. Not everyone can do a giant, budget film like this, but he did Free Guy, and Free Guy's budget was like I think 150 million, something like that. So I mean, it's not like
100 to 125 million.
So I mean, he's used to working with like decent sized budgets. So I don't know. He Reynolds trusts him, and that's gonna go the longest way, obviously. But this could work. He could make this work. And with Marvel, if you get one movie under your belt and as a success, they'd like to keep you in house. So Reynolds has said this is his last time playing Deadpool. I call bullshit on that. I don't think there's a goddamn way he's done playing Deadpool because they've got an Avengers movie that they're trying to set up, and they will roll that dump truck full of Disney dollars up to his house and be like, "Hey, you want to come back?" They'll do the same thing for Jackman and for Tobey Maguire, because there's no way that they're not getting Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman and scene together. That you can take that to the bank. I'll call that shit right now. But yeah, I think this will be fun. Again, I would really prefer them to not do another trailer, but they're going to, so we'll probably learn a little more. But
Well, that was our trailer reaction and thoughts for Deadpool and Wolverine. Hunter, let people know where they can find it, what you got coming up.
yeah. So I actually uploaded a 30-minute trailer breakdown about an hour ago, so you can check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. The Real Pineapple, SoundCloud, Apple, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, to name a few. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Yeah, that's me. It'll hit YouTube here in the next couple hours. I just uploaded my Sound of Freedom review. I don't know why it keeps doing two fucking reviews, but whatever. Yeah, Sound of Freedom, not great. I'll just spoil that right now. That movie fucking sucks. I'm gonna have a review this week for Monkey Man, Civil War, and then I might see Challengers tonight. I'm still debating if I want to go outside. We'll see. I might see Challengers tonight. I might wait till Thursday. I don't know. I'm figuring it out. But have a review for that this week. And then God, what else? Yeah, I think that's it this week. I'm gonna start reviewing the Planet of the Apes movies next week. The new trilogy, because we've got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes coming up. So
Okay.
yeah, so
up when that's coming out in May 8th. So
yeah. So I'm gonna start working through those. But yeah, got those coming up, and then I'm gonna be reviewing AEW's Dynasty pay-per-view that just came out last night. It was a great show. Gonna review that tomorrow on a stream. But yeah, got a stream tomorrow, and then got those 3 reviews come out this week.
Awesome stuff. So for us, got a stream coming up. We're gonna be doing it with Dusk, my frequent co-host there. We're gonna be reviewing Challengers, and we're gonna be reviewing Boy Kills the World. We're also gonna
Nice.
be giving, if we can, if we have enough time, we're gonna be giving our review of Shogun. Shogun ended the big show that a lot of people have been talking about, the new Game of Thrones for a lot of people.
Yeah, I gotta catch up on that.
So season 1, so we're gonna be doing a review for that possibly that this upcoming Friday, probably 8-9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm gonna be seeing Challengers tonight. I'm gonna be going to the theater here in a little bit and watching Challengers, the new Zendaya film. So yeah, that's what we got planned. Saturday, I don't have anything planned yet for a stream. If we do have a stream, possibly gonna be reviewing X-Men the animated series. Went back and watched all of that before the new one
Oh,
came out.
nice. I just finished a rewatch last week. Some good stuff.
Awesome. So yeah, possibly maybe doing that. Yeah, so that's what we got coming up. And if you want to catch what streams we're going to be doing next, you can follow us on all the social medias: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, all the Afternoon Tune. If you send us an email, you can do so at theafternoontune@gmail.com with any questions, comments, and concerns. We also, wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, if you see us on any of those platforms, make sure you leave a good 5-star review that helps boost up the podcast and does a lot for it. YouTube.com, type in the Afternoon Tune, and we will be there. They're trying to get to 1,100 subscribers. Twitch.tv/Afternoon Tune, where we're usually streaming every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday there, usually around 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, trying to get to 500 followers there. Thank you to Hunter for joining me today to do this breakdown. I'm going to be uploading this video here. And to all you people out there, stay tuned.